Hello, I'm your friendly neighborhood Luis Perez.
I'm Jason Acosta.
And our last review, we reviewed The Mummy.
Which was actually one of my favorite movies of all time, and it really stuck close to my heart.
I thought that was The Dark Knight.
But I said one of my favorite movies.
Oh. Today we're going to read the sequel, The Mummy's Return.
Which, sadly, wasn't as good as the original.
It's not a bad sequel. It's not even like a mediocre. It's a very good movie.
Yeah. But there are some problems that
it needs to be addressed.
Yeah. And there are some there are some new characters, like one, for example, that has some really bad CGI, but we'll get to him later.
This is The Mummy Returns. So decades ago, there was this once great warrior named, the Scorpion King. And he won many battles in his age until he met this one battle that
he made a deal with the god Anubis to sell his soul to the underworld. Then after he won the battle, his soul was sent back to the underworld,
turning him into a half human, half scorpion creature,
which unfortunately only appears at the end of the climax.
So we'll get to him later. We then see Rick O'Connell and Eve O'Connell actually get married and have a son,
Alex O'Connell.
Everything's alright, everything's great, they have a family now.
Until Imhotep gets resurrected.
Yes, apparently these, let's just say, treasure hunters.
Treasure hunters.
Came across a chest. They opened the chest, and yes, the revival of the great and powerful Imhotep. That's happened.
Yeah.
It's about as convoluted as how the Hammer films keep resurrecting Christopher Lee and Dracula.
And Imhotep actually meets this one woman who actually appears to be the reincarnation of Anck-su-namun, the girl that he actually had a crush on.
The Pharaoh's wife from the last movie.
Yeah, but however, she's in human form under the name Mila Nais.
Hearing of the return of Imhotep, the Rick O'Connells gather up, and the O'Connells, they gear up and head back to Egypt so they can destroy Imhotep for good. That is until Imhotep is found out that his new plan is to release the Scorpion King to destroy all of Earth, destroy the entire world.
Well, his plan is to kill the Scorpion King so that he could. Well, there are actually two decisions. One, if you kill the Scorpion King, you could send his army back to the underworld, or they could use it to destroy mankind and rule the earth. Of course!
Guess which one Imhotep chooses?
Take over the world. Of course!
Now it's up to Rick O'Connell to stop Imhotep before he can resurrect and kill the Scorpion King.
Well, the plot can be considered as,
good, I guess.
Except, it's a really long plot.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on at the same time. Like, aside from the whole Imhotep having to resurrect the Scorpion King, we have the family, we have the family dilemmas with Rick O'Connell and his family.
And even Alex gets kidnapped.
Of course!
Yeah, the son always gets kidnapped, right? Like in North by Northwest, that was the wife and the child getting kidnapped, but that's exactly what happens in this movie.
The story has too many things going on with it.
Like, for example, like Rick and Evie and Jonathan trying to find their son, Imhotep trying to resurrect Anck-su-namun into Mila's body, and
we haven't even gotten to the Scorpion King's plot.
And even Imhotep's plot to kill the Scorpion King. There's too much going on.
But let's get to the characters. First we have Rick O'Connell's, again played by Brendan Fraser.
He's still good. I mean, he's still as good as always.
Only this time he has more character development, seeing the fact that he has now a family to take care of, and there's also this relationship not only with his wife but also with his son Alex.
And it's actually revealed that he was actually a Medjay warrior.
Yeah, that little kid is actually a Medjay warrior.
No, Rick is actually a Medjay warrior.
I know. That's why I said that little kid.
No, Rick.
I know.
Not Alex.
I know.
Alex is the little kid.
I know.
But Rick is the...
But compared to the rest, he is a little kid.
True.
Then we have Evie O'Connell. Yes, O'Connell, since she's the wife.
Played again by Rachel Weisz.
And she is still as good as always. Again, being the wife, she has more dilemmas to deal with.
And it's also revealed that she's actually a reincarnated princess.
Yes, again, like Rick, this love interest is actually a princess.
A reincarnated one, just like Anck-su-namun Moon.
I smell Disney magic!
But yeah, I mean, these are kind of ideas are sort of interesting, like, and even Alex, he actually gets a hold of the Bracelet of Anubis, which in told was they have to reach the pyramid of the Scorpion King to Amshir before the sun hits it and eventually will kill him if he doesn't.
Then we have Jonathan. Wait, is Jonathan in the movie?
Of course.
Of course! Then we have Jonathan.
Played again by John Hannah, and he's still as funny as always.
Continue. Then we have Alex O'Connell.
Played by Freddie Bolt, and this is actually his first film, and he says that the first movie is actually one of his favorite movies. Good job to you, kid.
And who knew kids that age could watch movies?
And he's actually one of the few good kid actors.
Yeah, he's not like Anakin in Phantom Menace.
Or, I can't think of any.
Oh, you'll think of one soon.
Probably.
He's a very good character in the film, and even though we don't get to see much of him, he still does a good job.
Yeah, and
then we have our main villain, Imhotep.
Played again by Arnold Vosloo.
And he's still a very menacing and very cool villain. Only this time he's more downplayed for the actual villain of the film, which we'll get to next.
Yeah, but again, Imhotep, he still does a good job. But however, we don't get to see much of him in his decomposing form.
Yes, we only get to see him once, and that's when he's resurrected.
And when he meets Alex on the train. But and then there is Imhotep's love interest, Anck-su-namun, who's also Mila Nais, played by Patricia Velasquez.
Yeah, she does a good job. Next, then we have the actual main villain of the film, a villain who we only get to see at the end of the movie, but it's still considered the actual main villain. This is the awfully CGI'd Scorpion King. No,
oh my gosh, he looks awful.
He looks like a video game character for PlayStation 1, and that's not even like
or PS2. Like, okay, the design looks awesome. I have to give it some credit.
Yes, truly, he has a very unique design.
But let's not forget to mention he's also played by The Rock, which was actually his first film debut.
Well, it doesn't really help the fact that he only gets one scene in the entire movie, and that's the beginning.
And then at the end, where he's this half scorpion monster.
Now, throughout the entire movie, they build up the Scorpion King, saying that he's the ultimate villain. He can lead an army to destroy all of humanity, and they're building it up. They're building it up,
and they're talking about him, and I'm talking about him, and talking about him, and now we finally get to see him.
What?
Oh my gosh, and did you know that ILM, who did the effects for the first movie and second, actually said that the Scorpion King was the most difficult special effect to do in the movie?
Well, he tried! And
at least they tried.
but they failed. They just failed.
I mean, why couldn't The Rock actually use motion capture and then render CGI later like Arnold Vosloo as Imhotep when he's in his decomposed form?
It worked there. Why couldn't they use it for the Scorpion King? Why?
I guess they couldn't use the budget to do it, but... Yeah!
Anyway, then we have the soundtrack. It's still pretty good. Again, Egyptian with action.
Yeah, it's mostly action music, and that's actually one of our gripes, but we'll get to that later.
Then we have the special effects. Well, they surely have downgraded since the last movie.
I mean, some effects are okay, while...
Again, others are bad. Like, but shouldn't a movie, like, when it has a sequel get better, like the Sam Raimi series? Spider-Man series? Like, the first movie had decent effects, the second movie had awesome effects, and the third movie, the least great of the series, had some of the most amazing effects I have ever seen.
Yeah, but here, some effects are good, some effects are bad, but in the middle, some effects are really bad, aka the Scorpion King. Oh my gosh.
Then we have the good and the bad. The best part of this movie is definitely, well, let's just
the acting.
Yeah, the acting is still very good, despite everything else.
The worst part, the Scorpion King. Definitely the Scorpion King.
Like, again, for a villain that has been built up the entire movie, this is a big disappointment.
And another one of our gripes is there's way too many action scenes.
Yes, okay, the first one had a lot of action scenes, and yes, it was more of an action film than a horror film.
But this one goes far too much with the action. Literally, scene after scene after scene, there's always action, 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 shooting, 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 action, 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 shooting, 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 action, action, action. There's too much going on! And another one of our gripes, well, it lacked the horror elements from the first movie.
Yeah, again, the first movie was more of an action film than a horror film, but it had its horror elements in it.
And that's what made the first movie so great.
Because it can still be a horror movie while not being, well, a horror movie.
Here, there's barely any horror elements.
The only thing I found creepy was the decomposed Imhotep, and you barely see that.
But overall, this is actually a good sequel.
But sadly, with the faults it has, it really only the best rating we could give is an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
it's not a terrible sequel. It's not even really a bad one, but it's still a very,
It really needs to work on it. I mean, so overall, not as good as the original, but still a good sequel.
I'm Luis Perez.
And I'm Jason Acosta.
And I'm Anemi. I'm gonna suck Jason's soul now.
Oh heck no!
Oh no, payback time!
Ah, mother! You mother!